Hello and welcome to the Vegan Corner. This video is about a focaccia that is extremely popular in Italy, Focaccia Barese. This delicacy is generally drowned in olive oil, to the extent that if you were to squeeze it, you could easily dress a salad for 5 people with the oil that drips from it. Well, just for you guys, we completely removed the oil from the equation and found a way to obtain this traditional Italian product in only 3 hours. And trust me, if you have never tried this focaccia before, you don't know how good a piece of bread can actually be. The ingredient list is in the description below the video. To begin with, sift all the flour into a bowl. Then add in the mashed potatoes. You can use a potato ricer to mash the potatoes or simply crush them with a fork. Add in the salt and start mixing the ingredients into the flour. Next, add in all the water and mix the ingredients by hand until you obtain a rough dough. Moving on, transfer the dough onto a working surface and knead it by hand for 5 minutes straight. You are probably wondering why on earth you should waste your time kneading when you can make a no-knead focaccia. That is pretty simple to answer, because this focaccia takes 3 hours to make, and not 12-18 hours as opposed to the no-knead counterpart. Not everybody likes to wait one day to get hold of an outstanding piece of bread. Once finished, place the dough back into the bowl, dust it with some flour, cover it with cling film, and place it in a warm place to rise for 90 minutes. At any time, you can also make the topping for the focaccia, starting by cutting the tomatoes. I'm using medium to small tomatoes at this time, so I'm cutting them into 4 pieces. Although if you have different sized tomatoes, just adjust how you cut them accordingly. To finish the topping, mix in the salt, the oregano, and the pepper, and then leave the tomatoes to marinate until they are kneaded. When the rising time has elapsed, dust the kneading surface with some flour, remove the dough from the bowl with a spatula, and transfer it onto the surface. Gently stretch the dough by hand to obtain a flat shape, and then fold the dough into thirds like a letter, so left side end folded first, then the right end over that. Now, fold the dough in thirds again, but this time top to bottom instead of side to side. You can also roll the dough, as Miriam is showing you here. Next, form a sort of smooth ball by grabbing the edges and gently tucking them under the bowl, turning as you smooth and round the dough. This is actually easier to show than to explain. Place the dough back into the bowl, dust it again with some flour and cover it with cling film. Let the dough rise for an additional 30 minutes. Once the time has elapsed, transfer the dough into a baking tray lined with greaseproof paper dusted with some flour and gently stretch it into a flat shape. For the sake of being thorough, here we are using a 35 by 25 centimeters oven tray, or 14 by 10 inches if you prefer. Now poke the dough all over with your fingertips to create the traditional focaccia dimples. Take the marinated tomatoes and press them into the focaccia without being too precise, as you want to achieve a rustic final look. You can also preheat the oven to 200 degrees Celsius or 390 degrees Fahrenheit. Also make sure to drizzle the juices released by the tomatoes randomly over the dough to add extra flavor. Cover the tray with a kitchen towel and leave the dough to rise for the last 30 minutes. Once the time has elapsed, remove the towel and bake the focaccia for 20 minutes, making sure to rotate the tray halfway through the cooking time to allow for even browning and cooking. And there you have it. The addition of potatoes to the dough not only makes the final focaccia extremely soft to the bite, but it also helps the yeast to do its magic so that you can have the final product in a nice, short amount of time. I hope you enjoyed today's recipe, and if breads are something you enjoy making, please give this recipe a thumbs up before moving on to the next video.